Ladies and gentlemen, there is now a full investigation into the Elijah McClain case. Now, if you remember, he had went to a convenience store in Aurora, Colorado, and he was just simply walking back home, and someone had called in that he was acting suspicious, which I don't believe. We know suspicious means black. And the police confronted him, and then he was placed in a chokehold, and he was given a medication, like a sedative. 3 days later, he died of a heart attack in the hospital. So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, let's be real. I do not trust, and I know many of you don't either, a predominantly white criminal justice system to handle black cases. They are simply never going to do the right thing. History tells us that. And we see this consistently over and over and over. There was no reason for the police to make that kind of contact with him when they saw him. Now, Elijah McClain did not have any criminal record at all. He had no criminal history, no rap sheet. And if you remember, I did a video on the police mocking his death. They were mocking his death. So, that being said, what they'll do, ladies and gentlemen, is overlook all of that and let these cops off that killed him for no reason. There was no reason whatsoever for him to be killed. None. He should not have been approached because some racist got on the phone and said he was suspicious. Y'all do that all the time. We see that in the Karen videos. Karen's so bold, she'll walk across the street to a black family's home talking about they're suspicious and they're not even doing nothing. So we know that suspicious talk is a bunch of BS. That's what it is. And you do that just to give a cop, plant a seed in the cop's head that, oh, well, you better come out and approach this one a certain way. They're suspicious. Suspicious is right up there with resisting arrest. You know, those are the main tags they like putting on black people. You're suspicious. Oh, you're resisting arrest. They just love saying them two things when it comes down to us. Now, this young man, his life is gone. It's gone. And if these folks have it their way, there will be no justice for his death at all. This system, it's a good thing it's falling. Everybody is not upset that your country is in bad shape. This was a long time coming for justice that we have never seen. So we don't care if the DOJ and FBI are probing. It actually doesn't mean anything when it comes down to our cases. Don't mean nothing. We've seen this before. FBI, DOJ will look at the case and then the cop still gets off. We've seen it. I mean, come on. This doesn't mean anything. I guess these folks got to shuffle papers around to make money and make it look like they're doing something. We can't trust any black cases in the hands of a predominantly white criminal justice system. It will never be right as long as they're heading the whole thing. Just know and understand that. I'm going to go ahead and play this video for you.
The FBI and Department of Justice are looking further into the death of Elijah McClain to see if a federal civil rights investigation is warranted. As you might remember, police confronted the 23-year-old black man as he was walking home from a convenience store in Aurora, Colorado, last August. Officers detained McClain, who was not armed and was not accused of committing any crime. After a struggle ensued, McClain was put into a chokehold and given a sedative. McClain would suffer a major heart attack and die 3 days later. For more on this, let's bring in Dylan Thomas. He is a reporter with our CBS station in Denver, KCNC. Hi, Dylan. Thank you for being with us. So, what exactly is the Department of Justice looking into, and how will they determine whether a federal civil rights investigation is needed here?
They started to get involved right about the time where this started to become more of a national case. This has been going on for the better part of 10 months now, but it wasn't until the deaths of George Floyd and others that this really started to get the attention. So right now, when it comes down to the civil rights case, they actually have to go out and prove that his civil rights were violated in terms of Elijah had a right to be out walking to his home from that store where he bought some tea. So right now, they are out there trying to see whether or not his civil rights were violated because he has a right to freely walk and not be killed by police for simply walking home. We should note he had not committed a crime at the time when the 911 call was made, reporting that he was acting odd. So right now, investigators are looking into whether or not there was an issue around when the police responded and took the action that they did, if his civil rights were violated, because technically Elijah had not committed a crime when they had made contact with him. So right now, they're looking into whether or not the officer showed intent to violate his civil rights.
And so then how does a federal civil rights investigation differ from other investigations? If the outcome shows that his civil rights were violated, how does that, escalate the situation? Does it then immediately warrant charges against the officers? What would the outcome be?
Right now it all comes down to proving different levels of proof within the case as well. You figure the officers went already through an internal investigation months ago when this originally happened. This was back in 2019 at the end of August. So the police department already went through their investigation over whether or not their officers followed the protocol in this issue, and they determined that the officers did indeed follow protocol when it came down to their contact and the handling of the Elijah McClain case. Then you move on to the city investigation.
All right, we don't really have to go any further. It just kind of started buffering. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the bottom line. Elijah should never have been killed. Okay, if no crime was committed and he didn't violate anything, he should have never been killed, period. That's the bottom line. It's at the point we got to call it what it is. We cannot trust white people to police us right. We cannot trust your judges in a court of law. We cannot trust your all white juries. We cannot trust no aspect of your legal system, because it has showed us historically, that nothing is going to be right as long as y'all are involved in everything. Nothing. Elijah should never have been killed. And the person that called in that he was acting suspicious, that person needs to be brought up on charges, because it is very common for them to put in bogus phone calls to police. We've seen it time and time again, and make claims that you're doing things that you never did in a store. Just like Emmett Till. Carolyn Bryan going to wait until she's practically in the grave to admit he didn't do anything wrong in the store. We can bring up case after case where these folks will call the police, Tamir Rice, and someone in the black individual they call the police on always ends up dead from a phone call. We've even had people within our community that will have someone in their house that's mentally ill, and that person is having an episode. They get on the phone, call the police will come out and kill them. They have no business policing us, judging us, or anything else at this point. And it gets tiring seeing these stories. And we don't care what department you send this stuff to. We know you're at the end of the day, you ain't going to do nothing but make money off of it and then let the cops go. That's generally what's going on when they're sending it to the DOJ and FBI and they're investigating. They just get to make money and benefit off of the death of a black person and then turn around and do nothing to the cop. We're tired of it. We're beyond tired. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. I mean, look, even these news reporters are making money off of the death of Black people. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video.